Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing four-way pipes. Now, had the owner of kind of the Super Mario IP been, well, less litigious, I probably would have gone for the Super Mario theme again, because as soon as I kind of read the name, looked at the grid from, of course, the fantastic constructors FullDeck and missing a few cards, for some reason Super Mario jumped right at me. But what we indeed have instead is here is Sleuth's attempt at doing some plumbing, attaching, I don't know, some kind of manifold, is that what you would call it, with some sort of four-way connections. I don't even know why you would ever have that in Pipeworks. But you absolutely could have it when it comes to puzzles, so let's take a look at today's puzzle and rule set with FullDeck and missing a few cards as four-way pipes. Word of warning, it's a 2-star difficulty rated puzzle. And my experience means is that their puzzles tend to be a little bit more challenging. You know, they require decent logic to try and get you through it. You can definitely see kind of the reference in the image here to what's in the grid in the middle. Very interesting. Maybe if there's any plumbers down below that are actually playing, do let me know why on earth you would ever come across such a thing. Rules-wise, we've got standard Sudoku, Renban, and in cages. And essentially, it's familiar with what all of that means. You know what to do. There's a link in the description down below for you to play. On the off chance that you're not familiar with what all of these means, it means that the following. First, standard Sudoku. Place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row. Every column, of course, every 3x3 box, so nothing unusual here. Then we have Renban lines. So digits along a Renban line must form a set of non-repeating consecutive digits in any order. So these three cells, for example, have to be consecutive, and it cannot repeat any digits. It could be 1, 2, 3, could be 2, 3, 4. I couldn't skip digits and call it 2, 3, 5. They're no longer consecutive. And obviously in this case, I couldn't do 2, 3 because there isn't enough digits. But, this 5 cell 1, for example, I couldn't do a double 2 because I'm repeating digits. So it would have to be 5 consecutive digits without repeats. Right, then we have cages. So digits in cages cannot repeat and must sum to the value shown in the upper left corner of the cage. These two cells have to add up to 3. These 3 cells are 21, 9, 17, etc. As always, to play along, link in the description down below for you to do so. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. And I'm sure you have noticed a ton of things that are immediately possible to place. 2 cells that add up to 3 can only be 1, 2. 2 cells that add up to 17 can only be 8 and 9. Same column now, 1 and 2, 7. This can only be 3, 4 because I've replaced the other available digits that would get me to 7. 13, same thing, 6, 7. 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4. This cell that sees all of them can only be 5. 21 cage, and they are all part of a 3 cells are consecutive. This can only be 6, 7, 8. Essentially an average of 7. It has to be 6, 7, 8 to actually get to 21. I don't have a Renban, sadly, in any other cage. Right, here is where the thinking has to commence. Now, the placement of the 5, I think, is critical. And the reason is, obviously, all of these kind of cornered Renbans are 5 cells long. You're not going to be able to get, think about the number line here. And essentially I need 5 consecutive cells. You're not going to be able to find any 5 consecutive cells that does not contain the digit 5. And the placement of this 5 is clearly very deliberate. It's telling us that we essentially have some kind of weird 5 X-wings going on in there. Does that place... No, it doesn't place 5s in the corner, does it? It absolutely doesn't. What are you thinking, Sleuth? Not quite getting the significance of this just yet. So I may need to think about... Hang on. each one of these boxes has to have a 5 in it. Like guaranteed. If I put a 5 in here, well, it removes it from this Renban, but it removes the 5s on this Renban, so I have to have a 5 in there. So suddenly, these Renbans are actually quite interesting, like very interesting. Because in the cages, in the ones with cages where there's 6 and 7, and I know that there's a 5 somewhere in here, well, these 3 cells become somewhat interesting, don't they? Because they have to be from 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's got to have, I mean, 2 and 3 for sure. It's either 1, 2, 3 or 2, 3, 4. 5's not available. 5 is not available. I can't sneak in 6 and 7 because the 5 is not available, and 8 is not available, the 8 and 9. That's another 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this side is a little bit more interesting. 5 is not available. This side is very interesting. This is a high digit. Right, so 3, 4, 5 not available, somewhere in here. I mean, we know where the 3, 4 is. So obviously 1 and 2 are not here either, because the 3 and 4 are not available. So this is essentially like 1, 2, and 5 for sure. And then I have down here 3 cells that are from 6, 7, 8, and 9. So forget that for a second. Now, the 6, 7, 8, and 9, well, this can only be 6 or 7. This is not 8 or 9. This is 1 or 2. And then the other high digit has to be on this side. So this side has, because it's only 5 cells, if I place the 1 and 2 in here, let's go for the best case scenario, 2 and 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 barely fits. Barely fits with 1 and 7 in here. But like I'm almost tempted to say these feel like they're going to end up being like lows and highs. That's kind of intuition saying that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. 5. 2, 3. So these are definitely 5, 6, and 7. So this side, and it might include a 4. So this side definitely has, this is less interesting. I was thinking it's going to force a 2 in here, but I'm not guaranteeing a 6. This could be a 4, 5 pair. This could be 1, 2, and 3. And then I'd end up a 1, 2 pair in here, a 3 in there. Right. Interesting, but not quite. We're getting somewhere in terms of the logic. That's all right. Much better. Much better. One of these is 8, 9. I mean, I could try and distribute them, but I'm kind of thinking I'm going to struggle with this one being 8, 9, aren't I? Whichever side has the 9 is essentially 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, with this one having doesn't have 6, 7, or 8, like I couldn't put 5 and 9 and repeat the 9 and then 6, 7, 8 in here. So the 9 doesn't work on this Renban. It has to be on this Renban, which definitely means it is out of reach of the 1 and 2. So I end up with a 1 and 2 in here, a 5 on this side, and this can only be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now the 9 is not on the Renban. The 9 is in here. So that can't be a 6. This is a 5, 6 pair. And therefore this is 7, 8, 9. And so therefore this is 1, this is 2. This is now 3, 4, 5. Except this is not a 5. This guarantees a 2 and a 3. So there's no 3 in here. This is the 3. And therefore this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we have the 5 guaranteed up here. 7 means no 7. I'm just tempted to pencil mark the whole lot rather than think about it too much. I need to have a 4. Yeah. So there's 4, 6, and 8. And 9. I need a 9 in here. And the 4. The 9, sorry, Sudoku. I'm just not doing enough of it. 9 can't be in here. 9 is not there. 9 is on the Renban. Therefore, this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right. So 6 and 7 means this is 5, 8, 9. 8's already on here, as in the 6, 7, 8. So this is a 5, 9 pair. This is my 8. This is my 4. This is not 4. This is 1, 2, or 3. It is not a 3. It's 1 or 2. These are now known with 3, 4. It's very tempting to say this is 8, 9 with a 7 in here. I do need a 7 on 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so it can only be 7 in here anyway. This is 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's a definite 5 in here, plus something else. One of the 1s or 4. It can't be the 4 because I've already placed the 3 or 4, so it can only be the 1 and the 5. No 1s in here, and the only thing that's connecting them is the 2, and then the 1 in here, and then these are 2 known digits of, well, 9 is not here, 9 is there, and whatever this cell is, 6. Fantastic puzzle. Just immensely enjoyable. Not 4. So this is just 2. This is just 1. Not 1s. 2 gives me 3. 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. I can probably get a bit more in here. 6. Not 6 or 7. 8, 7. I say I can get a bit more in here. I can probably fully resolve these, so let's do that. And then the absence of cages on these doesn't help me resolve them. It's only that the 8 cage has given me the 1 and the 2. Fantastic. Right. Then we have all of these cages in the corners that are meant to help us. And one could be very tempted. One could be very tempted to think about Fistemefel ring whenever you see cages that look like this. It is very tempting to think about it. So I'm going to ignore it for now, which may prove to be like entirely an error, and see if kind of conventional Sudoku would get me somewhere. Like I'm noticing that these digits are all different. So the corners are surprisingly narrow. 4, 5, or 9, for example. 4, 5, or 6. 1, 5, 6. 1, 5, 9. Now 9 I don't think will work in a 4-cell 12 cage because the remaining 3 cells would all have to be 1s. So that's not going to happen. So that's definitely not 9. 1 sadly works in 25 because the remaining digits could be 7, 8, 9. Actually, they can't be. This is not 7, 8, 9, so 1 is off the table in here at least. This is very average and a very average cage. 4 with 7, 8, 9. The 7 and 8 wouldn't be here. With a 9 does work. Barely, but it does. Okay. Not as helpful as one would have hoped, if I'm honest. So I'm noticing something about the 21 cages being opposite one another, the 9 cages being opposite one another, that I'm kind of not quite appreciating again. So 9 in 3 cells, let's just think about that for a second. It's either 1, 2, 6, 1, 3, 5, or 2, 3, 4. I'm kind of wondering if there is a reason why this is forced in some cases. And then the 21 is almost like the tens complement of this, if such a term exist. So 489, 579, and then 678. Just double check my maths. Yeah, looks good. So that's kind of like my options for these cages. No, I'm really not getting the significance of any of this right now. How are we doing for time? 13-minute mark. So, like, I feel like we need to do something with the fact that we have this one. Unlike all the other locations, this cage was given. And it really opened up the puzzle. I'm just wondering if the fact that we know that this 1 and 2 are here, does it actually help? It does. It tells me that there's a 1 in there. Let me give you why. This 2 would put a 2 in here. So like I'm eliminating the 2, 3, 4. Because if this is 2, 3, 4, the 2 would be here. Then I end up with a 3, 4 pair and it breaks this cell. So there's a definite 1 in here. And then it could be 1 with a 6. 1, 2, 6. Or it could be 1, 3, 5, which is not great. We don't know much about what's happening with this 9 cage right now. What about the 21 cage? So remember, the 1s are now guaranteed in here. No 1s in there. Can the 1 truly be inside the 18 cage with a 4, 5, 6? I think the answer to that is yes. Sadly. I think I'm so sorry. I've gone down a rabbit hole without trying some more obvious things that are a lot more obvious. We have been gifted even, the sum of 7 of the 9 cells. And then I totally ignored it. Totally ignored it. And I feel like that was a mistake. If I add the 28 and the 9, I'm at 37. To get to 45, I need 2 more digits. And the 6, 7, 8 and the 1, 2, 3, I imagine, are constraining this. So how about I do some arithmetic for a second, and then we'll come back to this shenanigan. And then if none of this works, we're going to fall back to Fistemifel. But yeah, I know that every square adds up to 45 because it has the digits 1 to 9 once each. You sum them all up, you will get to 45. I have line of sight on 28 and 9, so that is indeed 37. To get to 45, I need another 8, and it's obviously 2 cells that add up to 8. That could be 1, 7. That could be 2, 6. That could be 3 and 5. Not as helpful on this side, okay, but helpful. The 6 and 7. All right, okay. The 3 is what's forcing the 3 and 5 in here, and then the 6 and 7 is forcing them there. In fact, this couldn't be 1, 2, 3. That was just bonkers. I don't know. I just needed to double check. Then we have 39, and then 6, which is a lot more disruptive. This is the 1, 2 with the 4, 5. Look at kind of the immense restriction that we're getting to right now. What is that? Oh, that is that 5, 6, 7. Interesting. Like, very interesting. Okay, let's just keep this party going for a second. 9 and 25 is 34. I need 11 between 2 cells, which could be 2, 9, could be 3, 8, could be 4, 7, cannot be 5, 6, and the 2, 3, 4 and the 7, 8, 9 is forcing all of these in here, in that order, I mean. Now, 4, 7 would be unfortunate because with the remaining options of 1, 2, 6 and 1, 3, 5, like I almost have a 1, 2 kind of pair. Can I actually have 1 and 2 in here at all? Don't know. Let's just finish this for a second. 21 and 12, this is the least helpful, 33, gets me to 12 in here. It's not fair to call it the least helpful. So it could be 3, 9. It could be 4, 8. And it could be 5, 7. Now you start to look at all of these pencil marks, and you start to get some like very concrete questions, like really concrete questions, such as one of the 8 9s is obviously in here in column, whatever it is, 7. And that it's either going to be joined with a second 6, 7, or one of these 6s has to be hiding in here. Now, if this is not 6, I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cells using all of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is possible. Interestingly, of course, the 1s is forcing a 1 inside the 12K, so then I have 3 more cells that add up to 11. Which doesn't include the 1. I can't imagine there are many options for that. So to get to 11, I mean 3, 4, 5 is already broken it, so we definitely have a 2. So the 2 is inside a 12 cage as well. Then I need to have, and in fact the 2 has to be in here because of this 2. Meaning there's a definite 2 in there because of Sudoku. Then I need, so with these established, I think the remainder is either 4, 5 or 3, 6, isn't it? So this is either 1, 2, hang on, let me just clean this up. 1, 2, 3, 6 or 1, 2, 4, 5. This cell is essentially one of these with a 1, 5. This feels very limited. 2, 3. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But it's not 2, 3, or 4. This is 1, 5, or 6. You know, interesting, but no cigar. It gives me a 1, 5, 6 triple, and then another 7, 8, 9 in here. Let me clean this up again. I only have one of the 7, 8, 9s outside the 25 cage. I have 3 of them. No, I have 2 of them in here, plus 2 more digits. Now, this is not helpful. I have one of the 5, 6s, one of the 5, 6s in there. Back to the 1, 3, 5, 1, 2, 6. I mean, this feels like I could crunch this out, but I kind of suspect that there's a more elegant solution that's just out of grasp for me that I need to find. The 1, 2, 4, 5, or 1, there's a 5 or 6 in here, which kind of dictates that this would be a 2 with either a 4 or 2 with either a 3. Because there's a definite 5 or 6 in here. We've eliminated the 2, 3, 4s. And therefore there isn't another 5 or 6 in here. It's a 2 with either the 3 or the 4, depending whether it's 5 or 6. And then we don't have 7, 8, 9 in here. Because one of them is there. So again, it feels like it's almost like, again, crunchable. I'm going to use that word again. So for example, I could have 6, 7, 8, the 5 would be here, the 9 would be there. However, if I have a 5 in here rather than the 6, and then if I have the 5, and then I have 2 of 7, 8, 9, because if it's 6, it would have to be 7 and 8. If it's 5, presumably it would have to be 7 and 9. Yeah. So in essence, the 7 is always in there. This is never a 7. The 1 and 2 are obviously not here because of this 1 and 2. It's very strange. I decided to sort of go this way round when these cages are a lot more restrictive, I suspect. Why was it so much more natural to go that way? The 1 and 2 forced me to look at the 9 versus the 21, where I'm just clueless about what's in there. Okay. I may have to hit the pause button. Apologies, I'm kind of recording before walking the dogs. So I may have to hit the pause button. Pretty a shame because it feels so close to kind of cracking open. Hang on, there's more 7, 8, 9s. 2 of the 7, 8, 9s are in here. Because I've got 1, 3, 4, 5, 6 covered. Now, I couldn't have a third 7, 8, 9 in here. So this is already placing an immense restriction on what's going on there. So these are ranging between 7 and 8 being the minimum, 15 with a 6. 8 and 9 being 17, the maximum, and 4. So this is 4, 5, 6, and I end up with a 4, 5, 6 triple. And then 1 is down here. So one of the 7, 8, 9s is in there. It's clearly not this cell. So this is not 7, 8, 9, 4, 5, 6. This is 1, 2, 3. And then there is another 2 or 3 with a 7, 8, or 9. The 2 or 3 would have to be in here because the 1, 2, 3 is not there. And then this is the 7, 8, 9. This is getting very restrictive now. So maximum here is 5. Meaning these two cells would have to add up to 13. Which is very permissible. 1 and 2 would be a 3. These would have to add up to 15, which would have to be 9 and 6. So it's not really disrupting what's going on there. I don't know if I'm going to have to start coloring the 7, 8, 9s. That would be certainly a possibility, but a big chore. I feel like if we can crack whether this 9 has a 1 in it or not, everything will come together. So we know that the 1 is not inside a 28 cage. I'm not going to get 3 cells that add up to 27. So either the 1 is inside the 9 cage, or it isn't. Now if I make this 2, 3, 4, this would end up being 1 and 7, and then the remainder will end up being 28, whatever that is. Don't know if I'm kind of tying my hands behind my back by refusing to use Fistamifel. And you see, the problem is we don't know what these cells are. We don't even have pencil marks for a lot of them. So, and a lot of these are just pencil marks. So this is not helpful, frankly. I mean, I could force it, can't I? Because I have the sum 40, 65, 75, and 8, 83. So, you know, and these, like some of these are like really low digits. So I think I could do something with it. But it doesn't feel like it's necessarily actually any quicker than what I've been doing. So I'm actually tempted to persist. Try and figure out what's going on here. Coloring might actually kind of pop things out a bit for me. It really might. So we know that the 9 has to have a 1 or 2. And we established that there's like a 1-2 X-wing going on here, some kind of strange setup, where in essence, if I make this a 1, I mean, can I hide them both up here? I think I could. I could have 1 and 2 with whatever it is, 5, 4, 6, 3, can't remember. Yeah, 6, 3, 5, 4. So it doesn't stop this from being 1, 2. And in fact, there's a very high chance, not high chance, there's a definite 100% chance that one of the 1, 2, 3s is in here. Hang on. 6, 7, 8, 9. Right, so we know that the 7, 8s, and 9s cannot be inside the 9 cage. I have line of sight on 2 of them. I cannot place a 7, 8, or 9 in these 2 cells. So this has to be a 7. This has to be a 6. This is not my 7. This is an 8-9 pair. Now, it doesn't eliminate a 6 from inside the 9 cage, so kind of the possibility of a 1, 2, 6 is still very much alive. But that was there for the taking. Which is shockingly not enough to actually advance this materially. Right, so we've established that there isn't a 1, 2, or 3 inside a 20. Sorry, there isn't a 1. There isn't a 2, is there? 7, 8, and 9 only gets me to 24. So 1, 2, and 3 are all not inside this 28 cage. So one of them is in here. The other one has to, the other two have to be inside the 9 cage. Where they will be joined with either a 5 or a 6. And therefore there's no 4. There is a 4 inside a 28 cage. This is 4 and 7, 8, 9. It's not a 5. So this is entirely 4, 7, 8, 9. Look at me saying not a 5. Immediately typing in a 5. This is 4, 9 pair. This is not 4, 9. This is 7, 8 pair. This is not 7. Therefore, this is not 1. The 1 is inside the cage now. So this is 1, 2, 6. That is 5. That is 3. Not 3, not 3. 4, 9 gives me 5. Tells me that's 1. That's 6. Therefore, this is the 2, 3 option now, which has to be the 2, the 3. Now I have broken things. This looks very broken. How did I break it? Because I said something about, I forgot that there can always be a 4 inside here. So this could actually be a 4, 8, 9 pair. I've totally forgotten about that option. It has to be for it to all work. So this is the 7. These are not 7s. This is an 8, 9 pair. This forces a 7 in here. just in row 8, 8, 7, not a 7, figure that out in a second, definite 7 in here, and therefore 6, 7, we can keep going, 1, 5, not the 1, is the 1, no 5s, so this is not 1, 3, 5, this is also 1, 2, 6, not 2, 3, 4. We already established there's a 4 in here, which has to be there, with another 8, 9, so this is the 3. This is 4 and 7 now. This 6 gave me 5. 11, 16, must be 9 to get to 25, and 8, and 9. This is 16, this must be a 5 to get to 21. Hopefully I'm not doing some crappy arithmetic at any point, pardon the language, that just would absolutely destroy kind of this solve at this point, because I'm kind of rushing it now. 4, 6, 14, 17, 1 and 2, not 1, not 2, has to be the 2. The 4 gave me the 9 and the 4, the 9 and the 8, the 5 and the 4, the 3, 4, 3, the 5 gave me 9, 5. 4, 8, 9 means the 4 is in here we've established, and then 8, 9 pair, that's the 8, that's the 9. 6 gave me 1 and 6, 1 and 2. These look resolved, yep, 3, 4, 5, 7, 4, and if I've not made any mistakes, 9 and 8. Phenomenal puzzle, absolutely phenomenal puzzle. I think this is amongst your greatest creations, FullDeck and missing a few cards. One where I should get onto the website and vote for it because it's absolutely stunning. I mean, from the elegance of the break-in with the 5s, the reasoning behind these Renbans. It's a shame that I'm pre-recording. I'm half tempted to actually sort of post it earlier, but I'll schedule it for Saturday rather than Sunday because it is that good. And it's you feel really smart when you find the 5, and then you think about these Renbans and you think about the implications these cages have and the 8, 9s and the 1, 2s, etc. But then just the intricacy of all of these cages, phenomenal. I would love to hear from you around whether there's a smoother way of solving it, but immensely enjoyable. Hope you guys enjoyed the puzzle and the video. I can stop my poetry now. I'm clearly not a poet. And I'll see you back soon. Bye-bye for now.